As we do some ELA practice today to get you ready for the state test, you have a nonfiction article called Eating in Space by NASA. Follow along. Imagine going camping for more than a week with several of your close friends. You would make sure you have plenty of food and the gear to cook and to eat it with. The food would have to be stored properly and be non perishable to avoid spoilage. After finishing your meal or at the end of your camping trip, you would then stow all of your gear and dispose of your trash properly just before the ride home. Astronauts basically do the same thing when they go to space. Preparation varies with the food type. Some foods can be eaten in their natural form, such as brownies and fruit. Other foods require adding water, such as macaroni and cheese or spaghetti. Of course, an oven is provided in the space station to heat foods to the proper temperature. There are no refrigerators in space, so space food must be stored and prepared properly to avoid spoilage, especially on longer missions. Condiments such as ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise are provided. Salt and pepper are available, but only in a liquid form. This is because astronauts can't sprinkle salt and pepper on their food in space. The salt and pepper would simply float away. There's a danger they could clog air vents, contaminate equipment, or get stuck in an astronaut's eyes, mouth, or nose. As on Earth, space food comes in disposable packages. Astronauts must throw their packages away when they finish eating. Some packaging actually prevents food from flying away. The food packaging is designed to be flexible and easier to use, as well as to maximize space. That word stow was a bold-faced word. It inserts a glossary since it's nonfiction. It means to store. The word contaminate means make something unsuitable or unclean. Passage 2. No pizza in space? By NASA. In the past, space food was not that great. Astronauts had to eat dried food from metal tubes that squeezed out like toothpaste. It was not very tasty. Space food has become more like the food we eat on Earth. Planning food for a space flight can be tricky. Fresh fruits and vegetables have to remain at room temperature. This limits how much can be taken. Fortunately, the space shuttle makes its own water. The water is used to rehydrate the foods and drinks. The food can only be heated to room temperature. Eating the right foods keeps us healthy. A good diet keeps astronauts in good shape. It's the job of the meal planners at the Johnson Space Center's Space Food Systems Laboratory to create healthy meals for astronauts. They use the same food pyramid guide we use here on Earth. We use caloric requirements based on a World Health Organization equation, says Vicki Caleris, subsystem manager for Shuttle and International Space Station food. Astronauts have their own meal plan for space travel. This plan is based on their height and weight. The body uses nutrients differently in space. Astronauts burn fewer calories. Iron's used differently in the body. The meal planners allow for these changes in planning meals. The astronauts pick their food from a list. The items range from spaghetti to fruit salad. Their choices are wrapped and stored in the galley area. Water is added to their dry food at the rehydration station. A special oven warms their food to 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 degrees Celsius. This does not cook the food, only warms it. There's not a refrigerator on the space shuttle. Food is stored at room temperature. There's a very small chiller on board. There isn't room for much. Few items just don't work in space, Clara says. Soft drinks don't work because of microgravity. Ice cream can't go up without freezers. Pizzas have not been perfected yet. Beyond that, astronauts can eat anything you might order from a typical menu. Cleanup's no fun, even in space. Plates and wrappers are disposable. The forks, spoons, and knives are washed using wet wipes. Astronauts are people, Clara says. They have likes and dislikes, and we try to meet their preferences. Astronauts are staying in space longer and need tasty, nutritious meals. Has some glossary words: rehydrate, caloric requirements, nutrients, and microgravity.